Hello and welcome to Clearview News Desk. We are reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. First, the headlines. Accusations of terrorism against Kashim Shettima are laughable, unserious. So says media aide Isa Gusau. Rights activists shut down Benin City to protest hike and scarcity of premium motor spirits. Tension and disbelief in Ijebuode as cops disappears from hospital morgue. Police calls for calm. I am Nkiru Obuli with these and more. Accusations of terrorism being leveled against Kashim Shettima by one Najaatu Mohammed took Nigeria by storm. The extremely sensitive position of Kashim as the running mate to the presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC, Bola Tinubu, makes the accusation so heavy. As expected, the party and other relevant interest groups rose against what has been seen as an attack. Najaatu Mohammed, self-acclaimed human rights activist and politician, just resigned from the ruling APC and from her high-ranking position as a director in its presidential campaign council. Since her resignation, she has visited the opposition presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar and gone on a flurry of media interviews accusing the APC, its presidential candidate, and most recently its vice presidential candidate, Senator Kashim Shettima. Quoting from a TV interview Najaatu granted, we're here especially as it concerns security. Quote, you cannot elect someone that is virtually senile, apparently referring to Tinubu and another person that has been associated on several occasions with funding terrorism. That is Kashim Shettima, unquote. Not too long ago, however, a media aide to Shettima when he was Borno governor, Isa Gusau, was in the Abuja studio of Clearview, where he bared his mind on the accusations at the person of Najaat Muhammad.
To be honest with you, I used to respect Najaatu Muhammad. I used to think that Najaatu was beyond saying certain things. I thought she was someone who was beyond being compelled by all means to tell lies. I'm really, surprised that she said what she said. Look, Kabir Sokoto was arrested on 14th of January 2012. Yes, it happened at the Borno Governor's Lodge, not at the residence, at the official Governor's Lodge. Okay. I'll give you the context. But 2 years after Kabir Sokoto was arrested, Najaatu Mohammed was in Maiduguri in 2014. While she was in Maiduguri, she stayed at the official residence of then Governor Kashim Shettima, where the governor was living with his family. She was in that house, I think, for about 2 or 3 days. So if Najaatu actually believed that Kashim Shettima had anything to do with terrorism because of Kabir Sokoto's arrest 2 years earlier, the arrest was on 14 January 2012. If she actually believed that Shettima had anything to do with terrorism, would she have come to stay at his residence with his family within the proximity where he was living? She would never have done that if she was so sure of what she claimed. What is clear is that Najaatu is just being political, and it's really, really unfortunate that she could descend this low. Now, let's go back to proper context. Kabir Sokoto was arrested under the PDP administration while Jonathan was the president. Shettima was in the opposition. He was in the AMPP, later APC. Everyone knows that Shettima and Jonathan were never at good terms while Shettima was governor. And then after Kabir Sokoto was arrested, naturally there were a lot of investigations by the federal government. Now, if the Jonathan administration, in the course of its investigation, found Shettima in any way connected with Kabiru Sokoto, do you think the Jonathan administration would have spared Shettima? No. Would the PDP-led federal government have ever spared an opposition, more so a Shettima that him and Jonathan were never at good terms? It's just not possible. There was a story that was published by The Cable. They published that story, I think, on 15th of July, 2022. In the story, they said there was a memo that emanated from the office of the then National Security Advisor when Jonathan was president. According to The Cable, part of what was uncovered in the course of investigating Kabiru Sokoto was that Kabiru Sokoto actually sneaked into the lodge with the intention of kidnapping Shettima's children. This was what The Cable independently reported, and up to now, none of the security agencies has countered what the nation reported. So, but Najaatu conveniently ignored the whole of this and came out to allude. I mean, Najaatu is 67 years old. Tell me, what does she really want? What is Atiku going to give her? If Atiku were to emerge president, for instance, the highest he will do is to make her minister for 4 years. She's 67, by which time, after 4 years, she will probably become 70, 71. I mean, what is she going to tell Allah? Would you just sit down and manufacture a lie against a brother? Because if Najaatu could stay in Shettima's residence when she went, it tells you of the relationship. Look, somebody approached Shettima 3 or 4 days ago. A senior advocate of Nigeria from the north wrote to Shettima that if Shettima could give him the go-ahead, he was going to sue Najaatu for what she said. Shettima said, no, Najaatu is a sister to me. How can I take my sister to court? He said, but look at what she said. He said, look, that is, leave her with her conscience. He said, look, if anybody accuses me, I leave them with their conscience. But God who created us knows best.
An INEC official, Mrs. Chiwandu Namani, has been caught in a viral video collecting money from people before issuing them their PVCs. Mrs. Chiwandu is also a serving councillor representing Umpulu Jodo, West Ward 20 in Enugu East local government of Enugu State. In the viral video, the INEC official was accused of collecting the sum of 1,000 naira from the residents before giving them their PVCs. One of the residents recorded the woman in the act. Benin City, the Edo State capital, has been shut down by rights activists. This followed the unending issue of fuel scarcity, as well as increment from the government-approved pump price of 165 naira to 650 naira per litre. Clearview News' Emefon Okon has the details.
Hundreds of protesters have blocked routes in Benin City, the Edo State capital, this Monday over the protracted fuel scarcity and hike in the price of the product. As early as 7 a.m., the rights activists, under the aegis of Edo State civil organizations, have converged on the Edo State office of the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission to address the unending issue of hiking price of premium motor spirit, popularly known as petrol. From the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Office, the group also proceeded on a peaceful protest across the city, going after black marketers, confiscating fuel, and arresting sellers.
And we are sending a clear message to the black marketers. As from this moment, I have given instructions to our people. We are going to find them, chase them, overtake them, catch them, confiscate those products, and convert it for our use. That because those products should not be in jerry cans, but should be in the filling stations. Hence, they've chosen to put it in jerry cans. We are going to take it over from them.
From here now, we are going to every corner of Benin City, wherever they are selling this black market. We will convert, we will give it to any motor that's just flying the road. We will tell the person, oh yeah, put it inside this motor. Pay if not 10 liter, then give her the 10 liter money. That is what we are out here today.
Meanwhile, the right activists under the aegis of Edo State civil organizations are urging the federal government to reduce the suffering costs by the fuel hike.
We are out here to express how we feel about this pump price, everyday increment on this pump price. Like this morning, I bought fuel for 650 naira. Fuel, a liter of fuel, 650 naira. We can't have, my mother cannot be in the kitchen cooking while I'm hungry. It's not possible. Others will be filled up. Me as a daughter will be hungry. We are here to say no to the high everyday increment on this pump of fuel. We are here to say no to all this unnecessary suffering. We cannot have fuel within, we cannot have a crude oil and be suffering every day. From Ring Road to Sapler Road, now is 700 naira. This morning from, what's it called? From First Junction just to this place, I paid 400 naira. A place I was supposed to pay 100 naira, at most 50 naira. Now it's 400 naira just because those people, they bought fuel on a very high rate. So we are out here to tell the government what we want, not what they want. They should listen to us as Nigerians. We voted them there. They should listen to us. When they were going out, they promised us they will protect lives and property. So we are among the lives they are protecting. They are not supposed to strangulate us. They should come out and tell us what we want to hear, not what they want to do. No. We are telling them to bring that fuel back to 165 naira. The federal government approved price.
Officers and men of the Nigerian Police Force, Nigeria Security and Civil Defense Corps, and the Edo State Security Network are fully on ground, however, to ensure maintenance of law and order.
And following the arrest and trial of former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu for human trafficking, the former lawmaker will on Tuesday, January 31, 2023, appear in court again in the United Kingdom. Recall that Ekweremadu and his wife Beatrice were transiting to Turkey when the UK police arrested them in June of 2022 at Heathrow Airport in London. The police arrested the couple after receiving a report from a homeless young man who claimed Ekweremadu trafficked him into the UK from Nigeria. The young man, identified as Ukbo Wamini David, alleged that he was made to undergo some medical tests without his consent. 2 days after their arrest, the 60-year-old lawmaker and his wife were arraigned at Uxbridge Magistrates Court on Thursday, June 23, 2022. Ekweremadu was then arrested while Beatrice was granted bail. However, just 7 months after his arrest, the lawmaker will appear before the High Court Judge, Justice Johnson, again on Monday, November 7, 2022, Ekweremadu's daughter, Sonia, who was charged alongside her father, appeared in court for allegedly trafficking a homeless man into the United Kingdom to harvest his organs for her. Sonia has a kidney disease and has been on dialysis for some time. The newly appointed Director General of the National Youth Service Corps (NYSC), Brigadier General Y.D. Ahmed, has assumed office this Monday. Ahmed took over from the Acting Director General, Christy Uba. Speaking at the handover ceremony in Abuja, Nigeria's capital city, the new DD promised to take the scheme to greater heights. Ahmed assured members of staff that he will not only sustain the high tempo, but collectively he will work with the team on ground and take the scheme to a higher level. To this end, he immediately unveiled a 7 or 5-point policy thrust that will drive his administration.
The policy thrust that will drive the administration of this administration will focus on the following: improving security, welfare of core members and staff to engender optimal service delivery to the nation, providing enabling environment for research and development for the advancement of the scheme, stakeholders engagement for the promotion of the frontiers of the scheme, enhancement of capacity building to stimulate efficiency and higher corporate performance, deepening the impact of the skill acquisition and entrepreneurship development program. I therefore solicit for the cooperation of members of staff and other stakeholders to enable us to move the scheme to a higher level of achievement. Meanwhile, let me assure the general public that the NYSC will always make the country proud.
Members and staff of the NYSC and the outgoing DG, Mrs. Oba, assured that the management team and the entire staff will give the new Director General the necessary cooperation to enable him succeed. Now, if you're just joining us, you're watching the news on Clearview News Desk. When we come back, we'll bring you stories on women and children. Stay with us.
The news continues now with stories from our area of specialization, women and children. After the main transmission of our news, we rebroadcast on our YouTube page, Clearview TV. Do you operate a women or children's NGO? Are you at the helm of affairs of a government establishment or a corporate organization involved in the affairs of women and children? Then you are our partners in progress. We have a mission to better the lot of our women and children. Join us to celebrate womanhood and work assiduously to better the lot of the Nigerian child. This is our mission.
Welcome back. A yet to be identified female corpse slated for burial on Saturday has gone missing from the morgue of the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, Ogun State. A hospital source said the drama started on Friday when the family of the deceased came to the hospital to take the body for burial, only to discover that the corpse was no longer in the mortuary. The source said the body, which was brought to the morgue in October of 2022, could not be found among 69 other bodies shown to the family for verification. Reports also has it that two attendants in charge of the morgue fled the premises. The source said the family members of the deceased came from Ijebuode to Shagamu with undertakers and ambulance on January 27, 2023 to claim their corpse for burial, but were surprised to discover that the corpse was not part of the 69 bodies brought out of the morgue for verification. The management of OOUTH, however, described the incident as a mix-up. The chief medical director of the hospital, Dr. Oluwabumi Fatungashe, in a statement, said the hospital was working with agents to unravel the circumstances behind the incident. She noted that the footage from the closed-circuit television camera was also being evaluated. The CMD hinted that the hospital would go as far as conducting DNA tests to identify the corpse. She said any circumvention of the quality assurance of the hospital will not be taken lightly, and necessary consequences in consonance with the public service rules will be applied on whoever is found culpable. The Ogun State Police Public Relations Officer, SP Abimbola Oyeyemi, said he was not aware of the incident but promised to get back to our correspondents. A 65-year-old mother is currently at the hospital receiving treatment after she was raped multiple times by armed robbers at her residence in Kaduna State. The information was disclosed by one King Ahmed via a Twitter post in the early hours of Monday. According to him, he had earlier called on the police to help him after his mother called to inform him of an attempt to break into her home on Sunday night to no avail. In the early hours of today, Monday morning, he posted a photo of his mother in the hospital where she is currently receiving medical treatment. The incident happened at KKB near Millennium City, Kaduna. A young man and his sister have been banished from their community in Lude, MBC, Imo State for allegedly committing incest. A video shared online shows community members leading the disgraced siblings out of the community with what little properties they owned. According to the narration from the video, the young man took his sister as a wife. They were asked to go wherever they want, but not to return to Lude under any circumstance. And on the entertainment scene, viral Nigeria hit single Billionaire by Stanley Okorie has reached the summit of Spotify Nigeria Viral 50 following a surge in activities inspired by its popularity on social media. Clearview's Dorothy Monday tells us more.
It is already known that social media platforms, especially TikTok, is a crucial channel in the promotion of songs, videos, and skits. But in recent weeks, the single Billionaire by Stanley Okorie has trended on TikTok and Instagram, where it has been used as soundtrack in videos. The song extols the power of money while encouraging those who have it to enjoy their wealth. The message in Billionaire and the song's melody has resonated with an audience who grew up watching Nollywood movies that popularized such songs. On Spotify Nigeria Viral 50, Stanley Okorie's Billionaire tops other trending songs such as Rex's Abragadabra, Libianca's People, and Omale's Soso. The song reached the top following a spike in Spotify streams inspired by its popularity on social media. It's also a reminder of the power of social media in propelling a song to mainstream success. In what perhaps is Stanley's most popular or notorious work, I Go Chop Your Dollars, is still considered by many to be the #1 soundtrack of the classic movies from the Nollywood, Nigerian movie industry. The song was featured in the movie The Master, in which Nkemowo Sophia plays a scammer. I don't suffer, no be small. Upon say I get sense. Poverty no good at all. Now him make I join this business. 419 no be thief. It's just a game. Everybody they play am. If anybody follow you, my brother, I go down. Stanley Okorie, born 1990, is a talented Nigerian Nollywood singer and writer known for Chicken Madness in 2006 and Circle of Fire in 2017. He released hit song Billionaire in 2020 for the Nollywood movie Return of the Billionaires, and not until the second week of January 2023 did it go viral, becoming an anthem for women, especially those whose attraction in men are their money. There is no mercy for money. Dorothy Monday, reporting for Clearview News.
On the foreign scene, at least 32 people have been killed and 150 injured in a bombing at a mosque in the Pakistani city of Peshawar. A section of the building was destroyed, and officials say people are buried under the rubble. Most of them who died were part of the police force, and it is believed they were the target of the attack. The Peshawar Police Chief Mohammed Ijaz Khan told local media that between 300 and 400 police officials were present in the area as at the time of the blast. Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has strongly condemned it. In a statement, he said those behind the incident have nothing to do with Islam. He said the entire nation is standing united against the menace of terrorism. The blast took place at 0830 GMT during afternoon prayers in the northwestern city near the country's border with Afghanistan. And that's the news, but before we go, a recap of the top stories. Former director of APC Presidential Campaign Council, Najaatu Mohammed, has accused APC vice presidential candidate Kashim Shettima of sponsoring terrorism in the country. But in a swift reaction, former media aide to Shettima, Gusau, called the self-acclaimed rights activist Najaatu a blatant liar, a cynical critic who has lost sight of the good works of Shettima. Benin City, the Edo State capital, has been shut down by rights activists following the unending fuel scarcity and its attendant hike, which has gone up to as much as 650 naira per litre. We also told you that police authority in Ogun State has called for calm following the tension generated over the sudden disappearance of a yet-to-be-identified female corpse slated for burial on Saturday. The corpse went missing from the morgue of the Olabisi Onabanjo University Teaching Hospital, Shagamu, Ogun State, to the disappointment of friends and family members. Remember to like us on Facebook, Clearview Television. Follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online. Follow us on Instagram at ClearviewTV_NG. And also remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel, Clearview TV. Thanks for watching. I am Nkiro Obui.